All right, welcome in to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be going over a story time about the time that I got P.I.E.D. Now, if you don't know what that stands for, it stands for porn-induced erectile dysfunction. So yeah, you guys are in for a treat. One of the most embarrassing stories of my life. It's going to go out to the public now. And before I get into it though, again, I want to say this as well. This is BC, before Christ. This wasn't anything that just happened recently. I know a lot of people are Christians watching this. They view me kind of as a role model within their faith. So yeah, this wasn't recently at all. This was back in my college days. So going back a few years back ago. So basically, before I get into the whole college story and the whole time I got P.I.E.D. and my experience with that and whatnot, because I know a lot of people, this affects a lot of people. For those of you that don't know as well, I think around 10% of men are in the age of 20 to 30 years old experience some form of erectile dysfunction. And I think a lot of that is because of pornography. The way it works as well is, your brain gets so used to viewing two people having sex on a screen that it's kind of associates that with the real thing, right? And it confuses the brain because your brain doesn't know the difference between real porn or pornography and real sex. And it thinks that pornography is actual sex, right? So when you get down to the real thing, nothing ends up working and your brain is just confused. So that's what happens, with porn-induced erectile dysfunction. That's how it works. And yes, it is reversible. And the way to reverse it is to go X amount of days without pornography. For everybody, it's different. For people, it reverses after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. Just go without pornography and eventually you'll return back to normal. But yeah, the video is the story time that I got porn-induced erectile dysfunction. So I was in high school, or not in high school, but I was on my way to, this actually happened in college, right? But I want to go back to high school. So high school, I was pretty much a antisocial, right? I didn't really do much. I didn't really hang out with many people. I was more so by myself. And for the longest time, I always thought to myself, I need to be doing these things, where I need to be, having sex with all these women. I need to, be partying. I need to be doing drugs. I need to be doing this because that's why, I'm just not having fun within life, right? Not knowing that living that life is way worse than the life that I was living in high school, right? But, I'm very grateful for this time in my life as well when I was in college that I did all these things, because I learned very quickly that this is not something that you should be doing. This is something that leads to a lot of unhappiness and a lot of unfulfillment. So high school didn't really do much, nothing at all. Kind of antisocial, quiet kid, yada, yada. I go into, college, right? And I'm like, I need to do all these things. I need to have these life experiences. I need to start having fun. I need to do this and that, right? And I get into college. I start doing all those things. And around the second month, October, so I got in, September, that's when my college started. And I got into next month, which is October. I remember I wanted to, have intercourse. I wanted to have sex, right? And back then, my thought process was I need to do this in order to impress my friends. I need to do this in order to yada yada, live in the world, basically. Yeah, I was talking to this one girl, over in my college. We didn't really get to know each other too much. We just kind of met up, if that makes sense. And yeah, we went to the bar at the time, even though I was 18 years old. I had exposed. I had a fake ID. I was one of those kids that tried to do a whole lot of reckless stuff, right? So yeah, we did all that, and we ended up hitting it off. And then, she came back to my place and it got down, whatever. The details don't really matter too much. And yeah, I ended up having erectile dysfunction during that moment. And it was really awkward because it kind of hurt saying it, right? But I just didn't really feel like a man at that point. It was and the thing is, I knew why this was happening, though. I knew it was because it was tied to pornography. And up until this point in my life, pornography affected me in all areas of my life. But I never really knew that it could affect you in this type of way with porn-induced erectile dysfunction. The moment it happened, I just couldn't get in. We kind of both ended up realizing this wasn't going to end up working out, right? There was a lot of embarrassment, a lot of shame, a lot of I'm not really a man, I'm not really this and that. I remember when it happened, right? I have no idea how she felt, by the way. It must have felt pretty bad. Also embarrassing on her part as well. But for me, I remember not feeling like a man, not feeling fulfilled, and not feeling like I did my part. That was my thought process at the time. And that was actually one of the biggest motivating factors that got me into wanting to stop this addiction to begin with, right? Because again, like I knew that it was affecting me within my relationships, it was affecting me with my social anxiety, it was affecting me with confidence, like depression, all these things, like it was affecting me, right? It was affecting me in all areas of my life. That's why I say with pornography, if you have pornography right now in your life and you're addicted to it, you're addicted to masturbation, you're living at 50% of your true potential. I'm telling you this right now from, when I used to be addicted to it to now that I'm not addicted to it, holding me back so much. Can't even imagine it, right? You have to live it out to really see how much that actually is holding you back, and you'd be shocked by how much it is when you guys do start to become free from this addiction to begin with. And it was, looking back on it, it was actually kind of like a blessing in disguise, because it kind of made me realize just how destructive pornography really is. And it's sad that it kind of took that event to happen to really kind of like imagine like how much damage it was doing with my life. But then I started self-reflecting, right? And it was like, whoa, this is doing this. The pornography is doing this in my life. It's doing that. It's doing this and it's doing that. And eventually I got to the conclusion that pornography is really destroying my life, and I need to get rid of it if I wanted to get to the next level and really become the person that I wanted to become, right? And become the man that God created for me to be. And during this time, I didn't really believe in God. I didn't really have a relationship with him, but I knew of God, right? Like I wanted to be the man that God created for me to be, whatever that meant for me at that time. But I knew that pornography needed to go out of the way. So I remember I ended up wanting to quit. I'm like, this is it. This is a sign from God to quit. And like you hear all the time, I didn't end up quitting during that time. I think I went like 2-3 weeks without it, and I went back to it, and I was just like, this is something that I'm gonna have to deal with for my whole the whole rest of my life. And eventually, hopefully it gets better. Eventually when this happens, I'm gonna end up quitting pornography. But yeah, that was the story about the time I got P.I.E.D, porn-induced erectile dysfunction, during my recovery. And it was not fun. It was not fun at all. It was pretty embarrassing. It was still one of the most embarrassing moments within my life. But again, it's like a blessing in disguise, because if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have truly known how much porn was damaging my life. And it was actually that summer that ended up happening in October. And that summer, right, of kind of that time period. So that happened in October, and I ended up quitting June of like the next year. So 8 months later, I ended up quitting pornography for good. And it was one of the biggest events that happened within my life that, allowed me to realize how much pornography was damaging my life. So a blessing in disguise, no harm, no foul as well. Like, it's a big deal, but not that big of a deal that I thought it was at the beginning, But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the story. I too have my own embarrassing moments within my life as well. And hopefully this makes you realize, right, that a person like me who had porn-induced erectile dysfunction, right, a person like me who's gone through all these things, and pornography has hurt me in so many ways, right, I quit, and so can you. So don't tell yourself that you can't quit pornography and masturbation, because if I can quit, truly any single person can quit. And if you have gone through erectile dysfunction because of pornography within your life, just know if you end up quitting pornography, you go long enough without it, eventually this will be cured. So that's pretty much it for me and this video. Hopefully you guys like these story times, and I'm going to post more YouTube content coming soon. So I am messaging you guys over on Instagram. So if you guys need more help on your porn-free journey, you enjoy this video and you want to learn how I actually quit pornography and masturbation and how I've gotten 2+ years removed from this, go ahead and go over to my Instagram. I'm going to link it in the description below, and DM me with the word YouTube so that I know where you came from. I know what video that you came from. And we'll have a discussion. I'll see if I can help you out. And it's pretty much it for me, guys. All right, see you later.